going on, everybody? What is going on? Yes. Good morning. It is Friday, May the 15th, 2020. Oh, can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Hey, yes, it's 11:06 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and today we are talking some Halloween. What a shock. Halloween, well, that's because something cool is happening tomorrow over on Twitter, Saturday, May 16th, 2020. Are you guys going to be tuning in? Are you going to be tuning in? There's going to be a Halloween 2018 watch party over on Twitter, hosted by David Gordon Green and Jamie Lee Curtis. Special guests include John Carpenter, Jason Blum, Judy Greer, James Jude Courtney, Nick Castle. But what does it all mean? What are they going to show? Is there going to be a trailer? Is there going to be a poster? What are they going to show? What is going to happen? We are here to break it down and talk about it. Halloween! Everybody's always in the mood to talk some Halloween, and that's what we are going to do today. So let's do it. Okay, so yeah, for those of you that may not know, who have been living under a rock the last week, tomorrow over on Twitter, there is going to be a Halloween 2018 watch party. Now, I think people can correct me in the chat room if I'm wrong, but my understanding of it is that, you know, you're not going to be, like, it's not like two dudes and some bullshit, right? Where Tony and I are literally live, okay, and you're watching us in real time talking, you know, essentially to the chat room while watching the movie. You can actually physically see us, okay, in real time. I don't think that's what's happening over on Twitter. I think what's happening is that everybody sort of joins together via a hashtag, right? There's a hashtag that you use, and David Gordon Green and Jamie Lee Curtis will be responding to your questions via that hashtag. So if you want to ask them a question like, hey, David, where the fuck's the trailer? You would ask that, and then you would hashtag Halloween 18 watch party or something, whatever the hashtag is, and then he would see it, obviously, and if he chooses to respond to it, he will. And it's assumed that at that moment, he's also watching, you know, the movie as well. And I'm not to say that he isn't. I mean, he very well could be. But I don't think, again, I stand to be corrected on this, but from my understanding is that nobody's going to be live physically. Like, it's not like you're going to see, hey guys, it's David Gordon Green here. All right, let's watch this. All right, wow, look at that opening. Oh, I remember that, man. I don't think it's going to be like that. But I stand to be corrected. Now, the time, because somebody, Jay Lawson in the chat room asks, what time is the watch party? Well, the watch party, according to my thumbnail here, is 12:45 p.m. Pacific time. That's 8:45 p.m. BST. That's bullshit time right there. No. I just relax. It's a joke. So 12:45 p.m. Here for me in Eastern time zone. Of course, that would be 3:45 p.m. Eastern time. So 12:45 p.m. Pacific time, 3:45 p.m. Eastern time, and 8:45 p.m. bullshit time. I'm just all right. It's ran its course. That's the time over on Twitter, and the and the hashtag. I believe the hashtag. Let me see if I can bring this up here. The hashtag, I think, is on the actual advertisement. Here we go. It is hashtag Halloween at home. Hashtag Halloween at home is the hashtag, at least according to the ad, the hashtag that you will use to join in for the watch party. So, yeah, that's going to be, hey, I don't know if I'm going to be able to tune in tomorrow because I got some things I have to do, but maybe I might be able to, you know, dip my toe in and kind of see what everybody's doing and what's going on. But, you know, if you're watching the show after the fact, comment below and let me know if you are going to be tuning in or not. If you're in the chat room, let me know, of course, if you plan on tuning in. But that's my understanding. And then after the watch party is done, I put watch party in quotes because obviously I don't think anybody's going to be seeing anybody physically watching it. So you could be lying through your teeth and I don't think anybody would know. But that being said, I believe after, and maybe even during, but I believe after there's also like a commentary, like a Q&A maybe with everybody. But again, I think it's just all through using the hashtags, right? I don't think anybody's going live and it's being broadcast via Twitter, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but that's not my understanding. So, but after it's done, then maybe John Carpenter, Judy Greer, James Jude Courtney, Nick Castle, they'll all get in on the hashtag. So there'll be a lot of hashtags going on and so on and so forth. And you know what? I think it's a great idea. I mean, I think it's fun, or I think it will be fun, especially for those fans who love that kind of thing. I mean, I think it's a great idea. It's great PR. It's great marketing. It definitely keeps Halloween during this COVID-19 shenanigans. It keeps it in the pop culture, keeps people talking about it. And that's what you want. Now, of course, everybody wants to know, is there going to be a trailer? Are they going to release a trailer for Halloween Kills tomorrow? Some people have speculated that they will. Are they going to release a poster tomorrow? What is going to happen there? Well, my feeling is this. I will be very surprised if they release a trailer tomorrow. I'll be very surprised. Of course, that doesn't mean they're not going to. Who knows? Maybe they will. But I would be stunned. I don't think they're going to. I think if they were to release anything at this point, if they were, maybe a poster. Maybe. Okay? But it would not surprise me if they didn't release that. It wouldn't surprise me if all tomorrow is a Halloween 2018 watch party. Now listen, they're not stupid. They know, folks. They know, okay, that right out of the gate, where's the trailer? What's up, Dave? Where's the trailer? When's the trailer coming out? When's the poster? What's happening? It's your trailer. When's the trailer coming out, man? Trailer. They know that. I mean, they know that's going to, so I'm pretty sure that they already have pre-selected, responses to something like that where they just kind of copy and paste and boom, you know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, they love that fans are passionate and excited and can't wait. I mean, that's what you want, right? Money. Anyway, but that's what you want. You want fans to be excited about this. But I just don't think we're getting a trailer tomorrow. I really don't. I'd be surprised. Again, that doesn't mean you won't, but I would be very surprised. Just based on sort of, I just don't think you're going to. Poster, maybe. I mean, maybe they will release something. Maybe it'll be another 30-second behind-the-scenes featurette like they did last Halloween. Maybe that's what they're going to do. Maybe it is. But I don't think... I just don't see a trailer. I think all tomorrow is just a Halloween watch party. And there's nothing wrong with that in and of itself. But I wouldn't don't lose your mind. I mean, maybe there will be. I mean, maybe that's how they want to do it, right? Maybe it's an ingenious way of doing it. But there are this is not just mutually exclusive to Halloween, okay? There are other watch parties also happening. I mean, if you look at sort of, I believe... if you go to Universal, there's some link that I went to, and Halloween is just it's on the block as one of it's on the block of watch parties where there's quite a few of them. So it's not like this was just exclusive to Halloween. Like this is ingenious. This is very special because it's just Halloween. Something's brewing, man. I can feel it. Now there's quite a few watch parties that are happening. Again, that doesn't mean they won't, but I just don't think they will. I think this is just simply a Halloween 2018 watch party to keep connected to the fans, to keep the fans happy. They know they're going to be inundated with those types of questions. They know that. They're prepared for it. But I think this is just, giving back, just saying, hey, we love you guys. We appreciate your patience. We understand that this is not easy. It's not easy for us either. I mean, we really want to, we're ready to go, and they just kind of want to say, hey, man, we get it. Hey, you know what? Let's watch the other movie. Let's watch the other movie together. We'll have some fun. You can ask all sorts of questions you want about that movie. And, you can ask some questions about the sequel too. And, we'll just have some fun for, a couple of hours. And I think that really is what this is. But you never know, of course. You never know. Hey, let's go over to the chat room and see what you guys have to say about this. How are you guys feeling about this? Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? If you were a betting man or woman, would you bet your life that you're going to get a trailer tomorrow? Somebody's got to be that ballsy. Somebody's got to be ballsy in the chat room going, I am betting everything. everything, folks. Absolutely everything. That there's got to be somebody that is willing to do that. Okay, so yeah, let's see how you guys are thinking. Where is everybody's mind at? What are you guys thinking? Let me know. Here we go. So we got, let's see here, Darren Zarzecki. I bet we get nothing from Kills. You know, like I said, I think that is probably going to happen. And they don't owe you a damn thing. They don't owe you shit. You know, these, you know, again, I mean, I know fans are excited, but it is May. Okay. And this COVID-19 thing, although the goal is to slowly, you know, open up things. And yes, the probability is high that by October, theaters will be open. And, you know, capacity might be a little selected at that point, but theaters will be open. But it's important to know that it's still very uncertain of what's going to happen. You know, these things are changing day by day, minute by minute, week by week. We don't know what's going to happen. So I just think until there is a almost certain probability or almost certain that we will be seeing movies in theaters in October, and Universal and AMC have made up and kissed and made out and, you know, whatever, which I think they kind of have already. You're not going to see it because there's no point. Studios like to have about a 3 to 4 month window for marketing. I mean, that is standard. It's not an exact science, of course, but that usually is standard. So, like, I mean, I knew there was not going to be a trailer at the Super Bowl. First of all, to pay for a 30-second ad on the Super Bowl, you're paying $5 million. I mean, that's like half the budget of the movie. You're not going to, A, you're not going to do it. B, there's no need to do it because it's January or it's the beginning of February. Some people thought you were going to get a trailer March 13th. No, way too early. Again, I've always speculated that I think the original goal was to have a trailer play in front of Candyman. And Candyman was originally slated at the beginning of June. Now, Candyman's not Blumhouse, but it is a Universal distributed film. And I think that that's a safe bet. Now, again, that doesn't mean that if you release a trailer in June last time, that you release it again in June the next time. But I think there is a high probability that they were probably going to follow a similar marketing path. At least I think that was a good bet. You have TIFF, of course, the Toronto International Film Festival, which is up in the air. Who knows if that's going to happen? But the second largest, most prestigious film festival in the world, right here in Toronto. Halloween 18 premiered. It had its world premiere at TIFF. I was fortunate enough to go and attend and see it. So I think that a similar path would probably ensue. But of course, COVID-19 just derailed all of that. And, you know, it's kind of things are up in the air. But if movie theaters are closed and things are uncertain, you're not going to get trailers. You could get a poster, but you're not going to get a trailer. So, but that, again, I know that October is still 4 or 5 months away. I know that there's this idea that, oh, you know, there's probably true, but there's no rush, you know, and they're sort of, they're monitoring this day by day, man, day by day. So look, could we get a trailer tomorrow? Maybe. I seriously doubt it. I would be stunned if they did that. Stunned. I'm more likely to believe that a poster would drop. I think that is more probable, not likely, but I think more probable. And if a poster were to drop, I'd be a little surprised. I'd be like, okay, yeah, I mean, you know, it is the end of May, you know, or getting close to the end of May. Okay, you know, I get it. Trailer though, full on trailer with this uncertainty still, I'm not really buying it. Frank, hey, I got a, Frank, your super chat from yesterday, Frank, was, can I read some sort of recipe in Julia Child's voice or something like that? I don't even know what a recipe would be like. And how does Julia Child sound? What the hell is she? She's like, oh yes, hello, Julia Child. I have a little chocolate chip cookies with Jason Blum. I call them Blum cookies. I don't know. There you go. Jason Blum cookies. They're called Blum cookies. Hey, Frank sends in another super chat, excuse me, and says, Dave, wouldn't it be funny that the Twitter commentary was supposed to be as a Blu-ray extra that never got put on? Also, reminder of your Julia Child. Oh, I just did it. Yeah, I just did it. That's right. I saw your name and I remembered. Cake recipe. Blum cake, not bum cake. That's a whole other cake. Blum cake, folks, Blum cake. Yeah, I mean, that would be interesting. But again, I don't think this is auditory. Like, I unless there's something that I am missing, I don't think it's auditory. I don't think that tomorrow when you tune in, you're going to be hearing David Gordon Green and Jamie Lee Curtis talking. I think this is just Twitter handle stuff, guys. I do. I think it's up to you. Like, they will tell you, right? If you follow David Gordon Green or Jamie Lee Curtis, or you follow the hashtag Halloween at home, you will then, I think that's the hashtag, right? Just make sure I got the right hashtag. Halloween at home. Yep. Then you will see tweets from David Gordon Green saying, okay, ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, hit play now, or, whatever. That's what I'm thinking. And then you just follow the hashtags, and you're assumed, it's assumed everybody's watching along. Now, obviously, when if it is done that way, and I do stand to be corrected, this is just from the information that I've gathered here, there's no doubt that a lot of people are going to be, nobody's going to be synced up. I mean, there will be some people that will be, but there'll be a lot of people tuning in late or not showing up at the right time or not hitting play at the exact moment, and everybody's kind of going to be kind of all over the place. The one good thing about doing it two dudes style, I know that sounded really bad. I'm talking about my podcast, of course, Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. The way Tony and I do it is, even though you're not seeing what we're seeing, because obviously we can't show the movie for copyright reasons, we can't let you hear it for copyright reasons, we do have a countdown at the beginning. You can see us. And every now and then, of course, I do still have to implement a time code. I am planning on doing that. But every now and then, of course, throughout the show, Tony and I will let you know where we are. You know what I mean? So you can match up. But I don't think that's what they're doing here. I really don't. It might be a bit tricky. Thomas Buckingham says, but Dave, we had the trailer for H-18 in June. We did. And there was a very specific reason for that. Again, it's important to note that studios, marketing campaigns are multi-million-dollar ventures. And, there are strategic plans in place for when a trailer and when a poster, when TV spots, what trailers, when they're showing, where they're showing. There are very strategic marketing plans in place. Nothing is arbitrarily done. Nothing. Zilch. Nada. Zero. Nobody just wakes up one morning and says, you know what? Let's drop that trailer this Friday. Why? Why not? Doesn't happen. There's too much at stake, too much money at stake. And there are specific plans in place. The reason why the Halloween 2018 trailer was dropped at the beginning of June last year was for a very specific reason. And they, I don't pretend to know what specifically that reason was, but it wasn't arbitrarily dropped at that moment. I mean, it was dropped, it was dropped because you're 4 months away from the release of the movie, right? And usually that's when you will start to see trailers. And when marketing campaigns begin to ramp up. Now, of course, it's not an exact science. Like I said, it depends on the trailer, it depends on the movie. But generally speaking, you're going to see marketing campaigns ramp up 3 to 4 months, prior to the movie being released. Now you're saying, well, hey, it's June, right? It's June last time. It's June. It's 4 months away. They're going to do it. Yes, if COVID-19 ceased to exist, yes, I almost guarantee you that I believe you would have seen that Kills trailer, and you still might see it at the beginning of June. You might. You might, right? That means they're privy to information, that they've looked at the long game and looked at what AMC is going to be doing and looked at what, okay, maybe we should, and then, okay, what if we do? And then we're not, it's not just like, it's just released at the beginning of June because we did it last time. It has nothing to do with that. That could be a factor, and they look at the success in the box office and how successful the marketing campaign was. It's definitely a factor. But they wouldn't just do it willy-nilly just because it worked last time. There are specific reasons why they do it. So, you could still see it, But COVID-19 has sort of thrown a wrench into things, and they have to make sure that they're not prematurely ejaculating, if you know what I mean. You don't want to too soon. So they want to make sure that they're not, releasing something too soon. So I'd be very surprised. I'd be very surprised if we get a trailer tomorrow. That's my thought on it. And but you never know. You might, or you might get something. I mean, maybe it's not a trailer, maybe it's not a poster, but like I said, maybe it's a behind the scenes 30-second featurette or something. I don't know. Intel Wild sends a super chat and says, "Hey Dave, I love you, bro. Let's get It's Me, Billy going soon. I would love to, but COVID-19 has to fuck off first, right?" For those of you that don't know, obviously, It's Me, Billy is the Black Christmas fan film that I am moving towards pre-production on. We're almost ready to launch our Indiegogo campaign for it. We're very excited about it. Our cast is in place. We have an incredible director of photography who's a 2-time CSC, Canadian Society of Cinematographer award nominee. We're going, full tilt with this independent film. It's a short film, of course. And we're really excited about it. Our cast is extraordinarily talented. The auditions were fantastic. And we were just about ready to launch our Indiegogo campaign when the lockdown happened. And so that was really disappointing. But we're continuing to work hard behind the scenes, of course, to shape and polish and get everything ready for the campaign. We don't know when we're going to we were hoping to launch the campaign in April. That didn't happen. It's not happening in May. Maybe in June. We're hoping June. I mean, ideally, we would have loved to have shot the movie in November. Now, that's still possible, depending if we can raise the production budget. It all depends, but our fingers are crossed. That may have to get pushed into next year, depending on how long this lockdown goes on for. So we would love to do it, but of course, the equipment rental houses and the industry is shut down. So we can't rent any equipment. We can't get any insurance. We can't, get locations. Everything is just shut down. So we have to wait till things begin to open up. Bruce and I even want to get together with our 3 main actresses, right? Victoria Miro, Shelby Handley, and Malika Henny, and who are, I can't wait for you guys to see these ladies. They're just fantastic. But we've yet to meet them. We've talked to them on the phone. We've exchanged emails and texts and things like that. But the auditions were done virtually. We're done virtually. We're done through online, I should say. So we've yet to meet them, and our goal was to get together for lunch, take them out to lunch and catch up and get to know them and all that kind of jazz. Talk, It's Me, Billy, and but of course the lockdown happened, so we've yet to do that. So that we want to do as well. So there's a lot of things that we're backed up on that we want to do. But as soon as the lock lifts, and it's slowly beginning to, like in some states in the U.S., here in Ontario, we're entering stage 1 of a lift, which is, thank goodness. But as soon as we can, we'll continue to get going on it, because we're really excited about it. But we can't do it without you, because it's a professional independent film. Again, it's probably going to cost about $40,000-$50,000 to make, and that's why we're launching an Indiegogo campaign for it. But we're really excited about it, and the team that we're beginning to assemble is just great. So and the same thing happened with Dylan's new Nightmare, of course, which is the Elm Street fan film that I'm playing Freddy Krueger in. That had to be halted, so there's still that's coming as well. So a lot going on, but we can't do much when the industry is shut down, my man. Let's see. Dia Maria. Hey, Dia, how you doing? All of this is butt gusting and not gut busting. That's right. That was a video. What was that from? There was some video I did where I accidentally said butt gusting and not gut busting. You must have been going back and watching a few of my older videos. I can't remember which video that was from, but yes, I did accidentally say butt gusting. And that's a whole other thing right there, folks. I don't know what the hell a butt gusting is, but that's a whole other thing. Thank you for the super chat, Dia. Really appreciate it. Oh, by the way, Dia, I sent you, I don't know if you got it, I sent you an email with your 30-second movie trailer. with me saying your name. Let me know if you got it, because I sent it to the email that you provided via Patreon. I just want to make sure that you got it. Let me see. Mark Williams says, hey, Dave, if and when they release the trailer, I'm hesitant to watch. H-18 first trailer, in retrospect, really showed a lot of the movie scenes. Maybe I'll do my best to wait till the movie. Maybe I'll do my best to wait until the movie. Good luck with that there, Mark. It's entirely possible. And, unless you are somebody named Spielberg or Scorsese, maybe Nolan, and even then, it's not guaranteed. You as a filmmaker have absolutely unequivocally no say what goes into a trailer. That's a separate department. That's the marketing department, and what studios will often do, and again, it depends on the movie, depends on the size of the movie, depends on the stakes, but generally speaking, studios will send the footage out to several different trailer houses, and several different trailer houses will compete against each other for the trailer that's used. So the studios will receive not one trailer, but maybe 3 or 4. And then sometimes trailers are also screened. There are also test screenings for trailers. Sometimes, not all the time. And to see which one plays. And sometimes they take all 3 or 4 that were cut by different trailer houses and they screen all of them to see which one, resonates the best. And then whichever one that is, if they feel the same way about it, they release that one. So it's entirely possible that there may have been another trailer to the 2018 Halloween film that may have been better. We don't know. I don't know what Blumhouse or Universal did in that regard, because again, not every movie does that, right? It does depend, but certainly that is a general kind of rule of thumb, and there was a lot that was shown in that movie. I think but that has nothing to do with David Gordon Green or the actors or Danny McBride or even John Carpenter. It has nothing to do with that. They would have had no say. David Gordon Green may have been just as surprised as anybody else when he saw Vicky open the closet door and there's, again, I've said it 1,000 times. It's great. It's great for a trailer. It is. The unfortunate part is that when you watch the movie, you know how she's going to die, when she's going to die, and where she's going to die. Any sort of suspense that was created was destroyed in the marketing. So it's a little unfortunate. Not that again, this is Halloween. Generally speaking, when you watch a slasher movie of this type and you hone in on and identify your main protagonist, which is your final girl per se, generally her circle of friends are gonna die. It's not really rocket science to think that, oh, hey, that girl's probably gonna die. The unfortunate part is you knew when, how, and where before you watched the movie. That's the real unfortunate part about that. But and who knows what they're going to show in the Kills trailer. I imagine it will be similar. You will see a similar trailer. Yeah, I would imagine so, because those types of money shots, they sell. There's statistics that actually prove this. They sell. As much as fans don't like spoilers, they help to really sell the movie and get people in the seats. And it's unfortunate, but it's true. David versus Goliath sends in a super chat. Thank you, David, and says, hey, Dave, is it possible we get a July 4th trailer? Yeah, I don't necessarily think they would release it on July 4th because it's July 4th, but maybe because like any other ordinary situation, right? Say there was no COVID-19, wasn't happening at all. I don't necessarily think you would get a July 4th trailer. I don't think, because it's Halloween, it's not, the 4th of July. But because it looks like a lot of July 4th celebrations are going to be canceled. Canada Day up here in Canada, which is the 1st of July, that's like our July 4th. So we're only, a couple days apart there in celebration across the countries. Our Canada Day celebrations have already been canceled. The CNE, which is the Canadian National Exhibition, which is a big, huge fair, like games and Ferris wheels and rides and all that kind of stuff, which is over 100 years old, happens in Toronto at the end of every summer. It's been canceled, the first time since World War II. So, a lot of things are just kind of kicking the bucket because of what's going on. So it's possible because 4th of July celebrations maybe are canceled that they maybe release the trailer at that time if they are certain that there's a reason to do. Again, it won't be just because, hey, people are stuck inside, it's not the same kind of 4th of July, let's release the trailer. That might be a byproduct of it, but that won't be the only reason why they do it. It would be primarily because they know now in 3 months their movie's going to be in the theaters, or there's a likelihood that it will, or they figured out what they're going to do. You know, it's VOD or the theaters, or they know now, right? It's certain. So, and it just so happens, hey, let's do it July 4th because, you know, we can disguise it as, oh, you know, hey, here's our gift to you, and, you know, it's possible. I mean, it's possible you get it tomorrow. I just don't think it's likely based on how the industry works and based on the uncertainty. I just don't think it's likely. Tomorrow I'm talking about. Chris Haim sends in a super chat and says, man, I just saw that Kevin James landed the sound guy job for Halloween Ends. Man, that audio is going to be crisp. That would be funny. If you guys, okay, Kevin James, right? King of Queens. Love that guy. I think he's fucking hilarious. Love that guy. Paul Blart. I mean, come on. I know Paul Blart. I get it. But it's just kind of funny. Anyway, I think he's hilarious. If you're not following him on YouTube or following him on Instagram, you've got to. He's got this sketch series that he does where he pretends he's the sound operator. Okay, he's the boom operator, right? And he places himself in different popular movies like Joker, A Star is Born. There's a few others in there as well. And whoever his team is, however they light him, it literally, the lighting matches. It literally looks like he's in the movie. You guys have got to see the Joker one. Just YouTube Kevin James Joker. That's all you got to do, and watch it. It is fucking, not only is it hilarious, it's so well done in terms of matching the lighting and it's so well done. Props not just to Kevin James, but props to his team who is putting that together, because it is really well done. If you didn't know who Kevin James was and you had never seen Joker, okay, and you maybe were a little naive, let's say, all right, and you showed that clip of Kevin James and the Joker film, you would have no trouble believing that that's a scene from the movie based on its match, based on the lighting and the cuts, and it's like, it literally looks like this is in the movie. Literally. It's so well done. It's some of the best stuff I've ever seen when it comes to that kind of thing. I mean, obviously, you know, we know that Joker's not a comedy, so what the hell's happening here, right? But it's so well done. You've got to check it out. Excuse me. I love Kevin James. He's so awesome. Frank Riker sends in a super chat. Thank you, buddy. Says, Dave, I got off the phone with DGG, David Gore Green, and said that they will be showing the trailer to ends instead with sock puppets. That would be that'd be amazing. You're welcome for that insider info. Frank, I don't know what the hell I would do. I don't know what I would do without you, Frank. I really don't know. Frank, you are amazing. Frank is the man. I really don't know what I would do without Frank, because you brighten my day when my days are down. I'm telling you, you do. It's so funny. Let's see here. There's another super chat that came in. I just want to make sure I didn't miss it. Blake Keys. Blake Keys says, hey, Dave, you and your channel have gotten me through some difficult times in my life. Thank you for that, and keep doing what you do. I look forward to your shows every day. Well, thank you, Blake. I really appreciate you saying that, man. You know, it's funny. Everybody, you know, thousands of people have watched me over the course, and thousands of people watch everybody on, you know, YouTube. And, you know, we don't know who you are personally, right? We only get a sense of who you are by your personalities, maybe, that shine in the chat room. But, you know, we sometimes forget we're all real people, you know, going through real life things. And if my show or my videos can add just a little bit of, you know, something to your day that makes you smile, I think that's great. Yeah, I think that's great. So, you know, stay strong, my man, you know, and surround yourself with the right people in life who can help lift you up. You know what I mean? It doesn't. Life isn't perfect, right? You can't have that idea that it's going to be perfect, but just do your best to surround yourself with the right people and during really hard times. You know what I mean? So, but that's great. I really appreciate you saying that. I'm so glad that it's been able to at least help, right? You know, maybe a bit of a distraction every day. Let's see here. I just want to make sure I didn't miss any super chats. I don't think I did, Blake. Chris Hames, man, I just saw Kevin James. Yeah, okay, I think we're good. I think we are good. So, yeah, now, who's going to be tuning in? I mean, are you guys tuning in tomorrow? Are you guys going to be watching the watch party over on Twitter? Again, like I said earlier in the show, I'm going to do my best to try and, you know, pop into the hashtags, just kind of see what's going on. But I have a very busy day tomorrow, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to do it. But I'm very curious to see what you guys are going to do. Excuse me. Jason Knight says, you missed Dusty Rose's super chat. Oh no, Dusty, my man. Let's go back at Dusty. Where is he? There he is. Dusty. See, my moderator is always helping me out here. Dusty Rose says, hey Dave, it's funny you're talking about this watch party. I was excited to ask you about it as soon as the news broke. Why won't we see them? Well, first of all, I want to say that it is not 100. I mean, I'm speculating based on the information that I've seen. It's a watch party on Twitter, not on YouTube, okay? And in order to communicate with Jamie Lee Curtis, David Gordon Green, whoever, I believe you have to use, and again, somebody can correct me, but I believe you have to use the hashtag. So for example, like if I wanted to ask David Gordon Green a question like, hey, you know, what did you shoot on? Did you shoot on the Airy or did you shoot on the Red? Like, what camera did you shoot on? I would type that out and but I would use the hashtag Halloween at home. And then he would be paying attention to all the hashtags. And if he sees that, I have no doubt he won't be able to respond to everybody, folks. Let's be honest here. Probably thousands of people are going to be tuning in. But if he sees it and he chooses to respond to it, he then, you know, replies, right? And that's how I don't think we're actually going to be physically seeing them like how you see myself and Tony on Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. I don't think it's going to be that kind of a watch party. I think it's just all done through Twitter where it's sort of just everybody's just assumed that we're all watching at the same time, and there's a viral conversation that's happening as we're watching. You know what I mean? I think that is how it's done. Now, I do stand to be corrected, but I think that's how it's done. And the reason why I want to emphasize that is because I don't want anybody to go in with these unrealistic expectations that you're somehow going to be sitting there and all of a sudden David Gordon Green is going to pop on the, you know, this little window and be like, hey guys, what's going on? Okay, let's watch it together. Hit play. And he sits there, you know, and he's talking to you guys, you know, like this, and he's reading tweets at the same time. And Jamie Lee Curtis, because in order for Jamie Lee Curtis and David Gordon Green to host it together, they would have to be in the same room. Well, not necessarily the same room together. That's not true. They could be over Zoom together or Skype, I guess. I guess that's possible. Hey, it's possible. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they will be live on camera like how Tony and I are for Two Dudes. Maybe they will be. But that's just not the impression I got from the information that I was reading on many different sources. I'm getting the impression it's hashtag based. That's what I'm getting the impression on. But I could be wrong. Darren Sand says, I'm not sure I could watch 110 minutes of Jamie Lee wittering about trauma again. That is true. You know, it's funny. She mentioned that word so much during the marketing of Halloween 2018 that I actually, when I hear the word trauma now, I think of Jamie Lee Curtis. That's awful. I mean, I think I was watching the news a couple of weeks ago and they were talking about the trauma of COVID-19. And the first thing I thought of was not, oh my God, that poor guy that's got COVID-19. My thought was Jamie Lee Curtis. It's crazy, but that's what I was thinking of. I think Jamie Lee Curtis, the reason why she really delved into the trauma, look, we know she's very outspoken. We know she's not afraid to speak her mind. But I think that was something that she was able to glom onto. I don't necessarily believe that it was an intentional hook from David. Look, I mean, the writing speaks for itself. Clearly, Laurie Strode is suffering from trauma. But I think it helped Jamie Lee Curtis to come back to the Halloween franchise. I don't think she would have. I don't think if Laurie Strode had not been suffering from PTSD in 2018, I do not necessarily believe, I don't believe that Jamie Lee Curtis necessarily would have come back. I don't think she would have. Because why? It's just the same thing. I think she needed a hook. And she needed to almost convince herself, okay, I'm going to go do this character again. You know what I mean? And okay, and I'm not saying that she doesn't love David Gordon Green and that everything she said about him and how Jake Gyllenhaal tried to get her. I'm not saying that's not true. I'm just saying when you read the script, she probably was able to, oh, okay, there's a hook here. There's an angle that I can get passionate about, you know? And of course she uses the trauma with, you know, it's the three ladies and family and, you know, things that are going on in the world and, you know, women fighting back. And like she was able to find her hook to help, which is why whenever you saw her in the marketing leading up to the movie, she was taught that was her. It wasn't about Michael or it was just about trauma and experiencing the trauma and as trauma and the ladies and the trauma and the family trauma and the dynamic. I mean, if you didn't know it was a Halloween movie, you think she was talking about some epic drama. You know what I mean? Like some drama that, you know, won Best Picture at the Academy Awards or something with how she was going on about it, right? I think that was for her hook. You know, it helped her maybe justify, and maybe a little bit of cash, her return to the franchise again. But I could be wrong. I mean, I'm not Jamie Lee Curtis. Jamie, if you're watching, comment below and let me know. We love you, Jamie. We love you. We do. Who doesn't love Jamie Lee Curtis? Come on, it's Jamie Lee Curtis. But I get what you're saying, Darren. I do. Dusty Rose says, are they going to do a TIFF world premiere again? Well, that all depends if TIFF, for those of you that don't know, TIFF is an acronym for the Toronto International Film Festival, the second most prestigious film festival in the world, right here in Toronto. And the reason why it is largely considered the second most prestigious behind Cannes, however you want to pronounce it, yeah, it's very highbrow, is because of largely where it's situated. It happens at the beginning of September every year here in Toronto. It's a publicly attended festival. So if you can get your hands on some tickets, and it ain't easy, folks, it ain't easy. Thankfully, I mean, if it wasn't for certain people I know in the industry here in Toronto, I wouldn't have, I mean, I was able to, thank goodness. And we had great seats too. But if it wasn't for that, I mean, they went like that. The Halloween 18 tickets went like that. Anyway, but it's largely because of where it's situated. And a lot of people like to tout TIFF as the official kickoff to Oscar season, because that's where because, you know, you're entering sort of the last quarter of the year, the last, you know, 4 months of the year. And of course, if you want your movie considered for the next year's Academy Awards, it has to be playing somewhere, have played somewhere, you know, either in LA or New York for a certain period of time. It has to have premiered, has to have played before midnight, December 31st of that year. So and a lot of Oscar movies premiere at TIFF. So it's a very important film festival because of where it's situated. It's a huge film festival. Thousands of people attend every year. But with everything going on, I mean, look, if the CNE, which I just talked about earlier, if the CNE, the Canadian National Exhibition, the big fair there, if that was canceled, and that happens at the end of August, the last week of August, it essentially happens, the last day for the CNE would be like the last, like Labor Day weekend, okay? If that's canceled, and it's not like they're restructuring, it's canceled, first time since World War II. TIFF, like, kicks off like a week later. So, and I mean, think of all the people, a publicly attended film festival, the people that, it ain't, I just don't think it's happening. I think why there hasn't been an announcement yet is primarily because they are trying to restructure it. I don't think they want to cancel it altogether. I think they're trying to restructure it and make it more of a virtual sort of online, maybe, festival, perhaps. Something like that. That's my guess. But who knows? I mean, as soon as I get off here today, I could, you know, pop on the news and all of a sudden, TIFF's canceled. Nah, that's it. Nothing. Done. Had TIFF not been canceled, yes, I do think the plan was to follow a similar marketing strategy as the 18 film, highest grossing slasher in motion picture history, $255 million at the worldwide box office. Why wouldn't you at least want to entertain the idea of following a similar marketing path if you can? And I think premiering at TIFF was probably a high probability at the very least. All right. Matthew Court. Matthew Court sends in a super chat. Thank you so much, Matthew. Says, hey, Dave from the UK. How would you like Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends to go? And would you finish the story after Halloween ends? Okay, well, Matthew, that's a loaded question. Let me just say this. I think Halloween needs to end. Halloween as we know it. I don't think there's anything wrong with having an ending to the story. But like my Halloween sequel concept idea video, which is on my channel, which you can watch, just type in Dave McRae Halloween sequel concept, should come up. I think it's got about 45,000 views. And I walk you through a sequel idea to the first film, to 18. This was before the announcement of Halloween Kills and Ends. I think you do need to end it. But I think you need to end it in a more mature way, a more intelligent way. And what I mean by that is don't end it in a cheesy, cliche way. I don't think there's anything wrong with Michael Myers dying, but I think you need to end it in more of a philosophical way. So you plant the seed of doubt in the audience's mind. So we know he's dead, but is he? And I don't mean that. You don't articulate that through his eyes suddenly opening or him coming out of a closet or him sitting up and then it cuts to black and none of that bullshit. None of that cliche, tired bullshit. Don't do that. Okay? Have him dead, however whatever that means. Whatever that means. But there's a question that lingers at the end. And that's the seed of doubt that you plant in the mind of the audience. You leave them with a, do you know what I mean? Something like that. If you watch my sequel concept idea video, that's what I do at the end of that video. And people seem to really like it. It's mature, it treats your audience with a certain level of intelligence, and it connects to the original idea of fate from the original film, so it feels full circle, and this whole thing, and it just treats your audience a little more intelligently than just you think he's dead, and all of a sudden there he is, he's coming out of the closet, and it's like, oh God, lame, fucking lame. How many times have we seen that? And then where are you? Then you're nowhere. Then it's weak. It's weak and it's lame. It's not weak and it's lame if you want to do it, if you're creating a slasher series and you do it at the end of the first movie or something. But like enough is enough already. So I do think it needs to end because as I've said 1,000 times, the longer you go on, the more likely you will find yourself right back where you started. They created the 2018 film. They got rid of all the sequels, even the beloved Halloween 2. They got rid of it not because Halloween 2 sucks, but because every other Halloween movie generally sucks dog shit. So they got rid of all of it. And started with just a sequel to the original film. Well, the longer you go on, the more likely it is you will find yourself right back where you started. You will start creating dog shit sequels because the novelty will wear off. You'll have to justify why he's still around. Now he's 82. You got to keep him going, and you're trying to keep him not literally supernatural. You're trying to keep him like a human. So, or that dichotomy at the very least, that sort of question. He's human, but there's something there, and you're trying to keep that. You keep this going. Eventually, the weird and bizarre and sensational will seep into the series again. Eventually, it will. The longer you go on, you can get one movie, two, maybe you can get a good trilogy out of it. But if anybody thinks James Jude Courtney can play Michael Myers another 14 times without most of those movies being dog shit, are just incredibly naive, and I just think that there's nothing wrong with bringing him back, creating something really cool that the fans can hopefully really love, and then going out on a high note. You know what I mean? And then if you want to start over again 5-10 years down the road and tell the story again for a different audience, knock yourself out. But this story, connected to the 1978 original, has got to end. It's got to end. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's value in things ending. There's value in stories ending. That's how I feel anyway. That's how I feel. So how do I think it's going to go? Well, I just think that, according to, certain things I've heard, Halloween 18 kills and ends all happen in one night. It's all the same Halloween. So, think of it, I guess that yeah, I mean, how do I think it's good? Well, okay. Quickly, because I want to move on here. I think Halloween Kills is largely going to follow Tommy Doyle, Lindsay, and Lonnie, and Marion. That's who I think it's largely going to follow. I think Laurie is going to spend most of her time in the hospital recovering. I think that's where she's going to meet Brackett. I think Brackett maybe is a security guard there. I don't know. I doubt he's a police officer. The guy's 80. What the hell is he? Unless he's doing a desk job, I highly doubt he's out there, out there. It's like I had a bit of a southern in me right there. You know what I'm saying? I highly doubt he's out there, tearing shit up. I think that's where they kind of reunite. Maybe there's some exposition there. How has Brackett been doing with the death of Annie and blah, blah, blah. And then I think it maybe all comes together at the end at Haddonfield Memorial. And that's where I think, now I could be wrong on that, but just going by what I see, and I didn't see the test screening, didn't see it, didn't read any of the spoilers, as soon as I saw something, I was like, no, I don't want to know. Based on the information I know and what I've seen, that's what I think likely Kills is going to happen. And then Kills will end in some sort of way to set up the final confrontation for Halloween Ends. And then Halloween Ends will end at dawn when, the sun begins to rise. That's what I think. Let's keep going. David versus Goliath says, does Meyer's supernatural edge age? Interesting. Well, I mean, no, but I think it all depends on what you mean by a supernatural edge, right? If you believe that there is a supernatural entity that has taken over Michael Myers' body, then, it depends. I think what it's meant by he has a supernatural edge is that there's something about the character that is unexplainable. And we're not meant to know what that is. That's why it works. It works because we don't know. It doesn't work when we do know, because then he just becomes Jason and Freddy. And Michael has something, the foundation of the character of Michael was built around this mystery, this enigma, because that original film was supposed to be that one-off, right? Like, you can watch the original film through two lenses. You can watch it through its original intent, which was it was a one-off movie, right? I've said this 1,000 times to people. Michael is gone at the end of the movie, not to set up a sequel. He's gone at the end of the movie to help fulfill Laurie Strode's arc. Because her arc is she doesn't believe in the boogeyman, and then Tommy's like, what's the boogeyman? There's no such thing, blah, blah, blah. And then at the end of the movie, it was the boogeyman. As a matter of fact, it was, right? It's the completion of that arc. He looks over and now there's just another confirmation of that. He's gone. Wow. And that's the end. It was just like a Hitchcock one-off film. It was never supposed to have a sequel. Highest grossing independent horror movie of all time. They make a sequel. They have to justify why he's still going. So they create this, motive thing. And so you can watch Halloween, the original, through that lens, the original intent, it's one-off, or you can watch it through the lens of that it's setting up a sequel, that he is the brother. When you watch it through the brother lens, you begin to understand that let me backtrack. When you think of the original intent and how the birth of the character was created around that enigma and mystery, whenever you try to explain that or open it up, you lose a little something with the character. You don't lose that with Freddy and Jason because they were never built around mystery, right? We knew that Freddy was a filthy child murderer in the first movie who was burned alive by the parents of the Elm Street. I mean, we knew that. We knew that Jason was a little boy who wasn't a very good swimmer, as his mother says at the end of Friday the 13th. And he drowned in the lake because two, counselors were not watching him making love, and that's where he is at the lake. And we know that he's back because he's trying to seek revenge. Like, there's not a lot of mystery to Jason in terms of his backstory and his origin. There's not a lot of mystery to Freddy, really. I mean, Freddy has a bit more mystery, but we can certainly point to things. Michael's very different. Michael's foundation is shrouded in mystery, created in mystery, built upon the foundation of an enigma and a mystique, And when you try to explain all that and you open that up, the more and more you do, you can do it a little bit, but the more and more you do it, the less and less cool he becomes. And the less and less, a little piece of Michael dies every time you do that. So that supernatural edge is not knowable. Does it age with Michael? I mean, Michael ages. Michael's human. When he dies, I would imagine the supernatural edge is gone. But if you want to believe that the supernatural edge is separate from Michael, it's like an entity, like a supernatural, which I've never believed. I've never believed it's an entity that has possessed Michael's body, although it's not knowable, right? We don't know. I think it's just something that he was born a certain way. And there's a little something going on up there. And then there's this weird thing that and it's like, what the hell is going on? There's an essence about him that is almost not human. It's strange and it's eerie and it's unknowable. But it's likely when he dies, because he is gone, it's gone too. You know what I mean? The mystery dies with him. The mystery dies with him. It's a good question though. Fun to pontificate, speculate. Mr. Genre says James McAvoy or Luke Evans as a young Dr. Loomis in a standalone TV series, not involving Michael, but a similar character preparing Loomis as a foreshadowing of events. Call it Samuel of Samhain. Here's the problem I have, and I've mentioned this before, but the problem I have with a Dr. Loomis series. On paper, it might sound interesting and, you may want to tune into it, right? Because it's Dr. Loomis. But what is Dr. Loomis without Michael Myers? You don't want to have anything happen to Dr. Loomis in his career that largely overshadows the events of Michael Myers. You don't want to have, I don't want to see young Dr. Loomis coming up, and dealing with all sorts of crazy fucked up people, because we're under the impression that Loomis has never seen anything like this. This is the first time I watched him for 15 years, sitting in a room, staring at the wall, not seeing the wall, looking past the wall. I met this 6-year-old child with his blank, pale emotion. He's dumbfounded at this. He's never seen anything like this. He's in his mid-50s. He's been doing this for 30 years. He's never seen anything like this. What the hell is this? My God. I spent 8 years trying to reach him and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up because I realized what was living behind that boy's eyes, brilliant, simply evil. He's just, and to then go back and watch Dr. Loomis's story about him coming up and even foreshadowing events, I think it takes something away. I think Loomis largely probably just had a normal medical career, treating kids somewhere, some kids may have been a little more weirder than others, but they were largely scientifically explained. They were largely normal cases. There wasn't anything unusual. He lived largely a normal life. That doesn't mean there aren't certain things about his character that might be interesting, or a patient or two that might be kind of interesting. But I don't want but to keep the show interesting, you would have to make these characters, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like, I don't necessarily want to see that. You don't want anything to overshadow Michael, because Michael's the granddaddy. Michael's the big kahuna, right? Michael's, largely maybe of what is the death of Loomis. Maybe he didn't kill Loomis directly, but maybe the insanity killed Loomis. So we want his career prior to that to be largely uneventful. And so it's a normal doctor thrust into an abnormal and exceptional circumstance where he really has to test his own faith and his own idea of science and, how that is all sort of, how that comes, into being. So, on paper, maybe cool. But I don't know if I want to see a series about Loomis dealing with patients, because you're going to have somebody, a patient who's kind of crazy, who's kind of weird and funky, who may end up being more cooler than Michael Myers. And we don't want that. That's how I see it anyway. Gary Rangel says, Dave, Michael always had chances to kill Dr. Loomis in the series. Why didn't he? In the series. Okay, now we're talking about the series now, because there's two ways. There's two ways I like to look at it. There's the real way why he wasn't killed, because he's the main guy. They don't want to kill the main guy. I mean, I know that's not very romantic, but that's the reason. And then there's in the narrative itself, speculating as if this was a real world. Why didn't he kill him? And we're talking about the series now, right? Well, he tried to in Halloween 2. Let's not forget that. He stabbed him in Halloween 2. In Halloween 2, he looked at him and he's like, well, fuck you, bitch, and took the scalpel and, right into the chest or into the gut, right? Oh yeah, he didn't give a fuck. He was like, whatever. There you go. You shot me, bitch. You're going down. When you get into the series, especially Halloween 5, which is just cringeworthy beyond belief. Oh my God. He's there and he's like, Michael, it's okay. Put it down. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's just cringe inducing. Likely because, if you want to think about the series, it's likely because there's a connection. There's an unspoken connection there. Maybe he's the only one that ever really cared about him, that tried to help him, and there's a little connection there. He has a little soft spot for him when he's approached the right way. You know what I mean? Like how Amy Steele does with Jason, right? Jason, this is your mother. And he's like, oh, hi, Mom. And maybe Dr. Loomis has that bit of effect. You know what I mean? So that's probably in a real world. This was real. Loomis is the only one that could probably get away with doing that because he's known him since he was 6, right? He's the doctor. You know what I mean? Reality? He's the main guy. We can't kill the main guy. That would be why. You guys are awesome. Super chat. Let me see. Ragdoll sends in a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Ragdoll. Says, what exactly do they mean by H kills? Like literally Halloween Kills or the kills of Halloween? Well, I think H kills has a couple of different meanings. I love the title, actually. I love the title of H kills and Halloween Ends. It's got 2 meanings, okay? H kills, It means that so you can look at Halloween Kills means that, Halloween in this world, in this universe, kind of kills. Like if you are a real person in this universe, the likelihood of you dying or finding yourself, it kills. Halloween Kills, like speed kills, crack kills. You know what I'm saying? Halloween Kills. That's one meaning. The other meaning is that on the word kills, which is like, this is a sequel to the 2018 movie, Let the Bodies Hit the Floor. This is going to be a high octane. There are going to be a lot of deaths in this movie. Halloween kills. Right? There's going to be a lot of death, a lot of carnage, right? Halloween Kills. You know what I mean? That's the other meaning to it. And I think it's just a cool title. Halloween Kills. It kills, man. It kills. I think that's what it means. And of course, Halloween Ends is self-explanatory. It ends. Halloween as we know it ends. Troy Stasha says, if anything, when the series is rebooted again, it will just be the original Halloween or very similar, just set in present day. Like maybe instead of Michael killing his sister in 1963, it'll be in 2013. I agree. I hope, and I know that a lot of Halloween fans won't agree with me, but I kind of hope that this is the end of Halloween for a while, that after Halloween ends in 2000 presumably if everything's okay, after Halloween ends next year, if things don't get pushed, just let it rest for a bit. Let it marinate, before you even decide to reboot it. And I really hope that Halloween Ends is the end of Halloween as we know it. But this is a business, and if Halloween Ends, if you want Halloween Ends to not be the end of this incarnation of Michael Myers, then just go see the movie 421 times. All of you, go see it. Go see it multiple times. Make that box office scream. Keep this series going. But be prepared that eventually there's going to be one that's released where you're going to go, well, that sucked. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, because you can only create so many sequels in a franchise until, especially a horror slasher franchise, until you're like, when there it is. Okay. So, yeah, but I agree with you. But let it rest, Let it marinate for a bit. Tell the story again in another, 20 years, 15 years. There's no need to tell it again unless you're going to not just reboot it, but reimagine it. So it's reimagined for today's audiences, which is going to piss off people like me who 40s. But it's not for me, right? It's not for people like me. It's for the 20 somethings who are growing up, who have never lived in a world without the internet or Twitter or a smartphone, right? You know what I mean? Like it's for them. It's a different kind of Halloween. It's a reimagined. Well, then do that. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Go ahead, do it. Do it. Because it's not for me. Like, it's not like they're making that for me. Like, hey, Dave, check this out. Hey, I know you're 54. I'm not 54. I'm just saying, people who are my age, and older who remember that. Like, hey, Dave, or hey, Bob, I know you're 54, but check this out. Look, it's not for him. It's not for Bob. It's not for me. If you're my age and a bit older, or maybe a little bit younger, maybe in your late 30s, it's not for you. It's not for you. I don't give a fuck. It's not for you. It's for your kids, essentially, right? So I just think you kind of need to leave it alone a bit, and just let this thing, just let it marinate. Let us old grumpy guys get over it and then just reboot it for a new generation or something like that. And then I can just go home and watch the originals. All right, a couple of super chats came in. Let me see here. I want to make sure I didn't miss what's the right. Matthew. Okay, Matthew. Let's see what you got going here, Matthew. Matthew Ferresi? Am I saying that right? I don't know if I am. Probably not. Let's see here. Or maybe it's fair instead of fur. Dave, do you think it's actually possible to pin someone to a wall the way Michael did to Bob? I love that scene regardless, but always wondered, with a flimsy kitchen knife like that? No, of course not. No. And I mean, again, it's suspend your disbelief, folks. But no, of course, I guess anything's possible. It depends on how much you weigh. I mean, it depends, but to pin Bob or me or you to the wall, no, of course not. I mean, we're going to fall down. I don't even think it's possible for the knife to go through our chest, through the ribs, through all the shit that's in us, to the back of the wall, and have enough of the knife sticking out of our back to have us pinned to the wall. I don't even think that's possible. You know what I mean? So no, it's just a movie. You know what I mean? It's just a cool shot, right? It's cool. Like you said, it's cool. But what I love about that scene too is that Cundy has lit the knife. If you look at, so Bob is pinned to the wall, but the knife has its own catch light or something, like it's actually really cool. It's kind of fun. It's a magic knife. You know what I mean? But no, I don't. In real life, no, I don't. I doubt it. Andrew L sends a super chat, says, had to step out for a bit, but did you answer my earlier super chat? Andrew L, you sent in an earlier super chat. Let's see what that was, Andrew. Andrew L says, Dave, if you're ever in Los Angeles, I said, wait. No, that's before. Okay, Andrew, you said, any chances on getting your main actresses on the It's Me, Billy-a-thons? Oh, very high. Yeah, I'll have to reach out. I did not answer that. I didn't see that come in. I don't know why. Again, sometimes, folks, super chats will appear here in the live dashboard window. They always appear there. What the hell is wrong with me today? There. But sometimes they don't show up in the chat. And I don't know if other channels have had the same issue, but sometimes that happens. I didn't see it, but I do see it now. Thank you for bringing it to my attention, buddy. Says, any chance on getting your main actors on the It's Me, Billy-a-thons? Yeah, the It's Me, Billy-a-thons are what we're going to do on the channel. Once we launch our Indiegogo campaign for It's Me, Billy. We're also going to do a couple of live feeds, myself and Bruce and some people attached to the project, and to help raise money for It's Me, Billy. It's just another way to help raise our production budget. So we'll be answering nothing but super chats. So yeah, we do plan on doing a couple of those. And when we eventually, get together with Victoria and Shelby and Malika, I will ask them, do you guys want to come on? If they can, I don't see why they wouldn't. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't want to speak for them, but I don't see why they wouldn't. So thanks for the super chat, man. Really appreciate that. And then Intel Wild says, Dave, if you are ever... Oh, wait. Was that the one you were talking about? Yes, that was the one you were talking about. Okay. Intel Wild. Let me go back to Intel Wild super chat now. Wait a minute here. Where did you guys go? Did the Intel Wild one not show up? Okay, I'm going to go over to this dashboard. Just make it a lot easier and speed some things up here. Intel Wild says, Dave, if you are ever in Los Angeles and accidentally step on someone's grass, I'll be the guy yelling, get off my lawn. Sounds good, my man. Sounds good. Get off my lawn, you son of a bitch. Oh, okay, it was before that. For some reason, I missed those. My apologies, guys. Great that I'm seeing them here, though. Killed Halloween End. I finally got that one. Andrew Ellis, a Step Out, and Cavern of Terror. Okay, I think I'm caught up now. Just go down to the Cavern of Terror one. Cavern of Terror sends a super chat, says, have you thought about releasing the old episodes of McRae Live to Spotify? I listen to podcasts at my day job. YouTube is terrible in my warehouse. I haven't done that. No. Look, I mean, I didn't even know there was such a thing as Spotify until like 6 months ago. I guess I don't have any kids. I'm not up on the latest, trends and things like that. No immediate plans. But you never say never. I mean, as the channel continues to grow, as we continue to raise more money through the channel, maybe I'll, hire a staff or something like that to be able to take care of all that. I'm a busy dude as it is. And when I'm done my show here, I'm on to the next thing. I'm on to doing voiceovers. I jump into my booth and I'm dishing out national ads, you know what I mean? And then I'm in the afternoon, I'm working on It's Me, Billy. And then maybe in the evening, I'm talking to Cecil about Dylan's New Nightmare. It's a lot going on. It's not just this show, or this channel. So, but you never say never, man. You never say never. And as the channel continues to grow, maybe I'll start to do that. You never say never. I mean, I've had people say, why don't you release it on, iTunes? Why don't you release it on Spotify? Are you going to do live streams on Twitch? Are you going to, and I'm just like, Twitch? What the hell is Twitch? I mean, where I come from, a Twitch is you got like a Twitch. What the hell is Twitch? Had to look, it's the world's largest live stream, but it's primarily for gamers. I'm like, well, I'm not a gamer. Why would I start live streaming on Twitch? I don't care about that. Anyway, I guess I just need to be more up to what's hip and trendy. So you never say never, man. You never say never. So, but at this moment, there's no plans. Let me see. So I think I got all the super chats there as far as I know. I did. How are we doing with the stream? The stream seems to be holding up well. That is good because YouTube, of course, has been knocking people off lately. Who knows? It's probably going to come. Fingers crossed, touch wood. Johnny T says, hey, Dave, Annie's line, hey, jerk, speed kills, and Meyer slamming on the brakes, then him shifting his focus and following her instead of JLC once it gets dark. Wouldn't that constitute motive? No, because you see, when we're talking about, that might be his motivation, but that's not necessarily motive. And I have videos on my channel about this, but and I can't speak for everybody, but when I say that Michael lacks motive, I'm talking about a prior history. I'm talking about something that you can quantify, that you can measure, that you can point. There's a reason why he would be, there's a prior history. Now, I know you could say he got angry at, the speed kills and that's his motive, but there's no evidence to suggest that he was following Annie and that is why he was doing that. Right? There's no, because then people also tend to point, oh no, he was killing them and he was just setting up the body because the real reason was to get Jamie Lee Curtis across the street. You got people who are going to argue that and they're going to point to that. That's the real reason. He wasn't following Annie because of the speed kills. He was following Annie because he wanted to, kill her first, and then Bob and Linda are sort of collateral damage, and then to lure Lori across the street. And there's so many things you can point to. There's no evidence for it. There's circumstantial. I mean, exactly, what you said. You could say that, well, I mean, maybe that's what he was doing. Maybe, but we don't know. And I don't think that's necessarily motive. We're talking about motive means something that would be like, a lot of the times people tend to point to, well, he's evil. That's his motive. evil's not a motive. I mean, you're not going to stand up in court and say, he's evil, Your Honor. That's why he did it. He's evil. I mean, we tend to need to be able to quantify. There's a prior history. There's something that you can measure. You know, he's angry because of something that was personal that happened. And again, I know you might be saying, well, what about that? He said speed kills, and now he's following Annie, and that's why he killed her. You know, I mean, maybe, but he was going to kill people regardless. You know, it's not like he was just some guy who became unhinged, like in, Russell Crowe's new movie, right? Michael was going to kill regardless, whether she said speed kills or not. He was going to kill, so I think it's just opportunistic rather than motive. It's opportunistic rather than motive, That's kind of how I see it anyway. Let me see. What do we got going on here? You guys are great. Great to see everybody here. 191 people watching. Of course, whenever I talk about Halloween, there always usually is a lot of people watching, which is great. I got my moderators here, of course. Tabitha Short is here. Darren Sands is here. Frank Riker is here. Jason Nike is here. You guys keep the chat room flowing. You guys are amazing. Duke Fleet says, hey, Dave, do you remember what you felt the very first time you watched Halloween? Just curious. The very first time I watched Halloween was probably about 35 years ago. I was 6. So no, I have no idea what I felt the very first time I watched Halloween. No idea. I mean, it was probably like 19, it might have even been longer than that. Maybe it was 84, 85. I mean, I was born in 1979. So, it was probably about 85, 86 is when I think I started to watch horror movies. Elm Street, Friday the 13th. So it was probably in and around the time that I watched the first Halloween. No idea. I mean, I would have thought he was cool, and I would have thought I would have loved the music, the theme. It would have been great. It would have been awesome. But I don't think I would have. I don't really recall any specifics. That's a long time ago. It's a long time ago. Let me see here. Jim Joe says, Dave, have you done a video on your top 5 movie or horror movie scores, soundtracks? No, I have not. That's a good idea. That's not a bad idea, man. Maybe I'll do that. I got some ideas. I want to do my top 5 John Candy movies. Again, I like to do top 5s because it really gets you to think. You know what I mean? And it kind of like, oh, this is really hard. And it's harder. And I like that. I want to do a top 5 Loomis quotes. I want to do a top 5, like I said, John Candy movies. I think I did top 5 Stallone, top 5 Eddie Murphy, top 5 Arnold. I think those are on my channel. I think I did them last year, if memory serves. Top 5 horror movie scores would be really good. That would be really good. We kind of know what number 1's going to be, don't we? But that would be really good. That'd be fun to do. Yeah, I'll think about that. Matthew Malice. Hey, Dave, I was watching CP24, and before the news on COVID-19, there was still dramatic intro music. I'm not sure what you're asking, Matthew. For those of you that don't know, Matthew must be Canadian, or he must be here in Toronto. CP24 stands for City Pulse 24. It's one of Toronto's 24-hour news channels. CP24. I guess you're referring to there was dramatic intro music before COVID-19. Okay, I guess you're playing off of when I made a quip about how media will sensationalize, events sometimes because you'll get like, next on the coverage of COVID-19. And it's like, what the fuck? Especially the U.S. media. I mean, the U.S. media, I don't care if it's CNN or Fox or NBC, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, PBS. I don't give a shit what it is. Of course, you get, extremes. It varies, but certainly, you get that cinematic kind of movie coverage when you watch U.S. media. You don't get that so much here in Canada, but you do get it a little bit. And I do remember I was making fun of CP24's music, but I didn't mean to suggest that there was never dramatic music before COVID. I mean, certainly it's news. There's always dramatic music happening, for sure. Yes, that's right. Intro music on the news is largely always dramatic. And it depends. It depends on what they're talking about. But you're right. Oh yeah, no, it is 100%. Oliver Mercer says, "Hey Dave, would you do a top 5 film lockdowns?" A top 5 film lockdowns? You mean like, what do you mean, like locations, like locking down locations? Or do you mean like top 5 movies that have been locked down, that have been pushed? I don't know if I'll do that. I don't really care to do that. But top 5 movie locations might be kind of cool. Crystal Lake Counselor 1977 says, "Dave, it's implied that Michael eats animals. Doesn't this ruin his mystique, putting him similar to Jason and his animal eating ways?" No, I don't think so. Because him eating animals, you're right. It is implied that he's eating an animal, but he's not necessarily animalistic in his approach, right? So you have somebody who is eating an animal, which to you and I sounds like, oh my God, right? Because he's eating an animal raw, and he's eating a dog, right? Well, that is animalistic behavior in terms of what we're used to as a society. Right. And that's why Carpenter wrote it in there, is that he's not this way. He's not, house trained. He's not a functioning, contributing member of society. There's an animalistic sort of raw primal. There's a primal sort of thing about him, but he's got to survive. He's got to eat. So he sees it, but it's very instinctual. That actually lends itself more towards my argument, talking about how Michael is more like a predator. He's not making complex decisions. A lot of, and again, I'm talking about the original intent of the character. You want to talk about him in Halloween 4, that's different. But that original intent was, he was a very sort of, it was primal. It was instinctual. He was responding largely on instinct. It wasn't that he had no personal reason to kill anybody. It's built into him. He's like a predator. That doesn't mean he's not, that he's void of any sort of thought. I don't mean that, but largely he's compelled to do these kinds of things. So it's you see the dog. I mean, Jesus. He's got to eat. He got hungry. As Loomis says, right? He got hungry. I mean, and that line is there. He got hungry. That line's not, I mean, that line is there to tell the audience, yeah, this guy is like, he's what the fuck, right? But the execution of the character of Michael Myers is very different than Jason Voorhees. Jason Voorhees is brute strength, very raw, in your face, rah, that's Jason Voorhees, essentially. Michael is nuanced. Michael's execution of the character is very nuanced and very, that mystique, that enigma, that shape, which was so great. He's the boogeyman. He's in the shadows. He's there, then not there. And it's like, what the hell's going on? And then before you know it, he's right there. And it's like, oh my God, you know what I mean? Whereas Jason, you can see coming a mile away. Jason's more that in your face. Michael's more that lurking in the shadows and in the bushes. You know what I mean? And then you see something like he's eating a dog. It's eerie because it's what he's capable of. And it's like, ooh, what the fuck, So you're right. It is an example of an animalistic thing that he would do, but it's not an example of his animalistic behavior with his killing, because he doesn't act like an animal. I mean, he gets a little more animal like in Halloween 6, but again, we're talking about that original film. He's not an animal in that movie. He's like a predator. He's like a cat, waiting, stalking, and boom! Ah, fuck! That's what's so great about that original intent. Let's see. We'll keep going here for a little bit longer. Hey, are you guys watching? I mean, are you guys tuning in tomorrow? I want to know if you guys are tuning in to the Halloween watch party. You know, again, I got some things I have to do tomorrow, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to tune in, to be honest with you. But if I can, I might sort of check for the hashtag and pipe in and just say, hey, what's going on, everybody? I might try and do that. But I would like to know if you guys are going to tune in. And if you're watching the show after the fact, comment below and let me know. Are you going to tune in? I have a feeling thousands of people are going to tune in, not just because they want to watch Halloween 2018, you know, hashtagging and tweeting with David Gordon Green and Jamie Lee Curtis and company, but also because I think people think something might drop. There might be a little something. There might be a little something. I'm just saying, there might be a little something. Now, again, I tend to lean on the side of I don't think anything's going to drop. I think it is just simply a Halloween 2018 watch party for the fans. You know, it's good PR. It's great PR, you know, and but I think that's, or maybe they might have a little something, you know, maybe they're like, you know what, we got to have a little something. We got to have a little something. And maybe there's a little 30-second behind the scenes thing again. There's a little something, maybe. Trailer, though? I don't think so. I'll be stunned. I will. And you know what? If the trailer does drop tomorrow, I'll be like, hey, that's awesome. That's amazing. I didn't think they would do that for the reasons I said. And they did. Holy snap and crap. That's so cool. That's amazing. But I don't think they're going to. If I was a betting man, I wouldn't bet it. Poster, though, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Let me see here. A couple of super chats came in. You guys are amazing. Andrew L. I think that's the... Yes, Andrew L. is the next one. Andrew L. sends in a super chat. Thank you so much, buddy. Says, aside from Jaws, do you have a favorite animal from a movie? Oh... Well, I don't think sharks aren't animals, they're mammals, right? Or are they mammals, animals? No, maybe it is an animal. Maybe I'm thinking of... Anyway, they don't breathe oxygen, so that doesn't... Yeah. Anyway, like whales and sharks are different because whales actually breathe air. Anyway, I'm not a marine biologist. Favorite animal movie? That's a good question. I don't really watch a lot of movies that have animals in it. I mean, instinctually, and I no doubt, and I don't see the chat right now. I bet you people are going to go, Cujo. Let me just check. Let me see here if people are saying Cujo. No, nobody's saying Cujo yet. There's Cujo. I knew Cujo was going to make it in there because it's like you just instinctually go there, right? Mother Mayhem says Lake Placid. Yeah, Lake Placid. That's a good one. 1999, I think. Betty White. Who doesn't love good old Betty White in there, right? Yeah. Deep Blue Sea, but those are sharks again. Deep Blue Sea, yeah. They do have gills. Yes, they do have gills. Oh, for sure. But I mean, they're not coming up to the surface of the water. I mean, fish have gills too, but if you leave a fish outside of water long enough, it's going to die. But whales, they have blowholes. I don't know if every whale does, but certainly a lot of whales do. Orca, the movie. Orca, yeah, I think there was that. Milo and Otis. What about that one with, what's that one? Oh, is that the one? No, the one with, and it is a tearjerker, man. I admit, I got choked up when I watched it. What's that one with, Jennifer Aniston and what's his face there? What's that one called again? With the golden retrievers? God, I forget what it is. I think it's golden retrievers, isn't it? Marley and Me. That's it. Yeah, Marley and Me. Thank you, Justin. Yeah, that's what that got me in the feels, man. That got me in the feels. I'm not gonna lie. It got me in the feels. Just saying, right in the old feels. Tap of the Short says, hey, is that a new hat? I like it. If it's not a new hat, I still like it. No, it's not. It was, I think, Jim Dorsey. Are you in the chat room? Was it Jim Dorsey that got me this? God, people send me so many nice things, and sometimes I forget who sends what. My apologies. It's not personal, of course. Jim Dorsey sent me this, and... So who sent me this? Was it Jim Dorsey again? No, somebody else sent me this. Oh, Jesus. I gotta keep track. I should have like a list of things that people send and their names beside it. My apologies. You guys are amazing, by the way. This sweatshirt and this hat were sent to me. This I purchased on my own, though. I did purchase that. Nobody sent me that. The vinyl Halloween 1978 jacket. Woo! Wee! It's good stuff. I hardly wear it. I think I've worn it out like once. I don't wear it because I don't want anything to happen to it. You know what I mean? So no, I've had this for a few months. I've worn it on a couple of shows. I've worn it. I usually reserve it for like if a show is about Halloween. You know what I mean? If it's Halloween if it's Halloween centric, I should say, that's when I wear this hat. Usually, not all the time, but often. Let me see. Mizzy E says Beethoven childhood classics. Yeah, Beethoven. I remember those movies. I remember the Beethoven movies. I do remember those. Absolutely. Let me see here. I want to make sure I didn't miss any super chats, which I did. So let me just keep going here. The Sting says, what if an HN's alternate reality Busta Rhymes shows up? But this time, Michael Crane kicks him in the face, shouting the words, woo-ha! Or woo-ya! Got y'all in check. Or is that what he says? Woo-ha, got y'all in check. Got y'all in check. Dude, I'm down. Let's fucking do it. Let's do it. Let's fucking do it. Where are we here? All right, here we go. Should be, I think it's, yeah.
Trick or treat, motherfucker!
I'm down for it, man. I'm down for it. Now that's me saying that. For those of you that think that's actually, I should actually get the actual clip of Busta Rhymes saying it and put it into my board and play it every now and then. I tend to go to the extreme when I imitate him. I'm like, trick or treat, motherfucker! I tend to go like he's like really passionate about saying that. The actual the way he actually says it is more nuanced. It's more like trick or treat, motherfucker. It's kind of like that. I tend to take it to the extreme. What a shock, right? That's funny, the Sting. Cale Hensley, excuse me, says, Dave, thank you for the super chat, man. Really appreciate it. Says, Dave, I thought H-18 was pretty good up until Vicky's death. Interesting. I haven't heard, I was expecting you to say up until the Sartain twist. The misplaced humor and the lighting killed that scene for me. From there on, it felt like the movie was unfocused, your opinion. I tend to agree. I think there are, I've said this 1,000 times, but it bears repeating because of your question. I think Halloween 2018 is a very good modern slasher movie. It's good, but it's not a very good Halloween movie. I think there are good Halloween moments in the movie. Like I think, I like that shot. I like that moment. But overall, I just wasn't feeling it per se. And that's not, listen, I'm not here to knock on the filmmakers. I mean, as I've said 1,000 times, it's hard making movies, man. It ain't easy. And I have no doubt that David Gordon Green, Danny McBride, Jamie Lee Curtis, John Carpenter, Jason Blum, everybody went in there making the best movie they could possibly make. And did they get to do everything they wanted to do? Probably not, because that usually happens with movies. But certainly I don't think they were half-assing anything. They delivered a movie they felt was the movie they wanted to deliver. And there are some really nice moments in the movie. But overall, I think it fails largely as a direct sequel to the original film. And there's specific reasons why, which you've heard me say 1,000 times. So I gave the movie a C+, and because there are certain things I like. But overall, I think it's a movie that's largely void of any suspense. And of course, the Vicky kill was destroyed in the marketing. I think there are better ways you could have even done that kill. I think if I was doing it, I would, and again, I'm not trying to, I hate, but I'm if I was doing it, I would have played it a bit differently. I would have had Vicky go to the closet, open the closet door to turn on the light because Julian wants a light on. Kids are like that. So she goes to the closet door, opens it to turn on the light. And she turns it on for a moment so we can see that there's nobody there, supposedly. But there's a lot of shit in there. There's clothes and toys and shit like that. So there could be somebody in there, but we don't see it. According to us, there's nobody there. Then the light bulb goes out. Sometimes happens, right? How many times have we gone to turn on a light? It's on for 3 seconds and it turns out. It goes, whatever, right? It happens. She turns around. Now there's darkness behind her. She turns around to face Julian and she says, do your parents have any more lights in the house? And he's like, yeah, I think there's something. And during this conversation, we start to see Michael's mask slowly emerging from the darkness behind her. And it's like, what? How the fuck? He was, what? How? But you set up the closet, in a way where you believe that he could have been there. But again, you're playing that supernatural element, like what? And you're playing into his MO, which he does that, and the shot would have been like, oh, fuck, you know what I mean? And that's something you don't have to destroy in the marketing. It's something that you have more to work with to not give everything away there. And I think that would have been something, that's how I would have approached it. You know, I think just opening it and having him there, it works. It totally works. Totally works. 100%. But I think there are better ways to do it. So I don't know if I agree that from that moment, for me, it fails, or I just kind of goes down. I think the whole movie for me was a little kind of all over the place, where I was feeling I had some peaks in terms of, oh, I like that shot. Ooh, I really like what they did there. But then it would be met with, and I don't like what they did there. And then I love the character of Dr. Sartain. I like his character, but I loathe what they did with him. I think it was completely mismanaged, and it plays off as just they need him to die because, you know, they needed the twist because they needed him to drive Michael to Laurie. It's like, figure out another way. You know, I think it would have been more interesting instead of playing into a Friday the 13th type of kill with your smash of the boot on the, you know, that's very Friday the 13th. Maybe have him drive to the house. I don't have the twist at all. Have Hawkins and Sartain drive to the house where they meet up with the other two cops. And it's like, you know, what are you doing here? And it's like, and then how Michael gets to Laurie is he chases Allison through the woods. Allison runs into the wood. She somehow they're met. You go back and somehow there's a chase scene because we'd love to see a chase scene. Allison, instead of running to the door and the chase scene sort of stops after 5 seconds, have her run down the street. There's a chase scene. She runs into the woods. She's hiding in the woods. She's trapped. Oh my God, what am I going to do? She eventually makes her way and Michael's chasing her and Michael follows her to there's other ways you could have done it. So for me, it's more, the whole movie is kind of like this for me, you know, what they did well, they did really well, which makes what they didn't, in my opinion, what they missed that much more frustrating. And again, let me also say that it's the best Halloween sequel we've got in a long time. I mean, I will say that. It is. It's better than Resurrection. I like it better than H2O. It's better than 5. It's fine. But when it's a direct sequel to the original film, there are certain things that I think really needed to be there. And they just weren't. And it's unfortunate. And we'll see what Halloween Kills does. Let me see. Let's go for a little bit longer here. We'll go for a little bit longer, maybe another 10 minutes or so, and then we will call it a day because I have to get going and do some stuff. So yeah, let me see. Don't want to miss any super chats. Kale Hensley, is it Hensley? Hensley, I think it's Hensley. Yeah, you were the last one. Good. Alexander Dirksen says, Dave, isn't the point of a first movie that Michael... Dave, isn't the point of the first movie that Michael is supernatural, the boogeyman? Tommy says it, Laurie says it, Loomis confirms it. The end confirms it after he gets shot 6 times and still gets up. Well, there we go. The confirmation comes in... Yes, that he is the boogeyman, right? There is an element to him that he's the boogeyman, but where the human side comes is that he's not. It's not like he materialized out of thin air. Michael Myers isn't a supernatural entity. He's not a ghost. He's not a demon. You know, he's not the Darth Maul demon from Insidious, you know, or the demon from The Conjuring. He's not that kind of supernatural. I mean, he was birthed. He was a little boy who went to school, you know, who drew pictures and ate cereal at the kitchen table and, you know, had and opened Christmas gifts. He's a human being, but there's something psychologically from birth has been off with him. And there's something he does that is so creepy. Or if you want to dive into the more of the literal supernatural interpretation, you can look at Halloween Night, right? There's something that's unknowable. There's something that maybe possesses him. You know, maybe something has come in to him. Maybe there's some dark evil force that maybe there's something there that we can't, it's not quite tangible. There's something that is sort of, and maybe in combination, maybe he was already predisposed to having something off with him. Maybe he was more susceptible. He was weaker. He wasn't strong-willed and minded to fight off something like that came into him because he was already going to be a Jeffrey Dahmer or a Charles Manson or I'm just using the extremes to make a point here, obviously. But there was something in him that was already maybe already a weird kid and we didn't know that, and so he was more susceptible to whatever happened. That's entirely possible. And whatever that is kill, that takes the 6 shots. And then we have to keep in mind that the 6 shots are the best example of a literal supernatural interpretation. Getting a knitting needle to the neck is survival. You can survive that. I mean, he got it in the neck. It's not like it could kill you, but it's survivable. Being stabbed in the abdomen, that could kill you, but you could also survive as well. You could survive to live another 30 minutes and who knows, the adrenaline is pumping and who knows what's going on. Being shot 6 times at point blank range, yes, that's the icing on the cake where it's like, oh my God, what is going on here, right? But it's in the unknowable. That's what makes Michael work. You can have people lean more this way. You can have people lean more that way, but it's never knowable. It's never knowable, which is why Carpenter, has always said, is he human? Is he supernatural? He's part human, part supernatural. He is a human being. I mean, that is very clear. He is a person. But what is that other thing? What is it? And that's what makes him work. It's the unknowable. It's not knowable. You can't know it, And that's what that's what makes the character so fascinating, is because you want to believe you are on the cusp of knowing. You want to believe it's possible to know. You want to believe that one day you might know, but you won't. You never will. And that's what makes the character work. Let's see here. Scroll back, a couple of super chats. Oh no, Kale Hainsey was the last one. I did get that one. Andrew. Okay, cool. I thought I missed a couple. I didn't. At least I don't think I did. We're doing well. We're doing well here, folks. We're doing well here on this episode 56. Yeah, 56 episodes already in McRae Live. You guys are amazing. It is Friday, May the 15th, 2020, 12:46 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I am here from the VoiceMann Studios in Toronto, Canada. Mark Williams says, speaking of Jaws, what do you think about Jaws the Revenge? I'm fascinated on all the decisions for that movie. This time, it's personal. Hilarious. Oh, Jaws! I saw Jaws the Revenge, 1987, I believe, at the drive-in. I was 8 years old. I saw it at the drive-in. I thought it was dog shit then. Of course, I couldn't say it or I'd get in trouble. But that's what I thought. It's awful. It's awful. This time, it's personal. Like the shark is, again, you think of Michael as like a force of nature, right? We've heard John Carpenter say that. When John Carpenter says that Michael is a force of nature, what he means by that is that it's not personal. Of course, he's talking about the original, Michael, but it's not personal. It's like the wind. The wind doesn't tear the shingles off your roof because the wind doesn't like you and you owe the wind money. It's just a force of nature. It's just doing what the wind does. It's instinctual, I guess, if you want to call it. It's not even instinctual because there's no brain that's even, it's just the wind. Michael's like, he's a force of nature. Michael's like a great white shark. He's doing what he does. That doesn't mean that there isn't some supernatural thing in him that is driving that, and that Michael isn't thinking at all. Like he doesn't know what a car is or how to open a car door, or he's not thinking I'm going to get in the car. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about those complex decisions, where you are compartmentalizing your thoughts and making decisions based on, intellectualizing all your thoughts. He's not necessarily doing that. It's more instinctual. So to say that this time it's personal, a shark, especially a shark. I mean, listen, you could make the argument that for Michael, this time it's personal. You could totally do that, and it's totally believable, because he is a person. So you could, like, it's more believable to believe that, that there is something personal. Even though I don't think that's necessary, and that was never the original intent, you can make an argument for it because he is a guy. He is a person. He is a person. A shark? A shark? This time it's personal, and he's only going after people in the... How the fuck does the shark know? It's hilarious. It was one of the most hilarious subtitles ever. No, it's a terrible movie. It's a terrible movie. Terrible movie. David versus Goliath sends in a super chat. Thank you. Why won't he die is a line no one talks about. Yes. From Halloween 2. Thank you for bringing that up. Folks, David versus Goliath just said, why won't he die is a line no one talks about. I've actually talked about it. Not in a while. And I don't know what video it was in. It would have been last year for sure, before I was doing these live shows. So I'm not sure what video it was in. And I don't know if it was a video about that specifically. It might have just been something I was talking about to make an overall point to something else. But you're absolutely right, dude. From Halloween 2, 1981, when Michael is lying on the ground after being shot, and the marshal is sort of attending to him, Loomis comes close to Laurie and says, I'm sorry I left you, or something like that, right? And Laurie doesn't even look at Loomis. She's just looking at Michael. And she says, why won't he die? That question is rhetorical. Loomis doesn't answer the question. He doesn't stand there going into some sort of speech about, I met him 15 years. I don't know, Laurie. 8 years trying to reason, no, trying to keep him. He doesn't do, he doesn't do that. He doesn't do that. Sorry, I'm just getting all excited here. He doesn't do that, right? Because that is not for Loomis. It's for the audience. It's the question. It's the question that's unknowable. It's the question, it's the answer. It's the question that you are never supposed to know the answer to. You know what I mean? Why won't he die? Because it's never answered. And it's another reason why I think Carpenter implementing a motive in Halloween 2, there really is a motive now in part 2, which is she's his sister, he's her brother, is completely unnecessary for two reasons. For one major reason, but there's two reasons the dream that she has about, I'm not your mother, and why aren't you my mother? You know that dream, you know the fuck I'm thinking, you know what I'm talking about. Change that to another dream. Change it to her having a dream about her in the closet with Michael attacking her, dreaming about the events that just happened. Boom, done, great. Change the conversation in the marshal's car. Just change it to something else. Just don't have Marion dive into the, that Strode girl, she's Michael Myers. Just change that and make another reason for Loomis to need to go back to the hospital. Relatively easy, relatively. We never see Laurie discover that she is his sister. We never see that payoff. We never see Laurie find that out. Loomis doesn't tell her. Marion doesn't. Nobody tells her. Now, it's assumed that when she takes off in the ambulance the next, morning or a few hours later, that at some point she'd probably find that out. But we never see that as an audience. So it's irrelevant. Because the most important thing in that sequel should not be, he's my brother, she's his, or he's her, brother's, sister. That's irrelevant. The most important line is what David versus Goliath just said, which is, why won't he die? That's it. That's why it works. You're not supposed to know. And you just leave it at that. You just let that marinate in the audience's mind. You just let it marinate there, because you think maybe you're going to find out and you don't, and it's just great shit. It's great shit. Great shit. Sorry. I'm getting all excited. Folks. I'm getting all excited. All right. Let me see here. Another couple more minutes, and then we will take off. 2 more minutes. That's what I'll do. 2 more minutes, folks. 2 more minutes. You guys are amazing. This has been a really good show today. A really good show. And hey, if you're watching after the fact, comment below and let me know if you are going to be attending the Halloween 2018 watch party tomorrow on Twitter. Hashtag home at Halloween? Home with Halloween? I gotta find that goddamn thing again. What is that hashtag? Halloween at home. Hashtag Halloween at home. Hashtag Halloween at home. Don't forget, tomorrow, 12:45 p.m. Pacific time, 8:45 p.m. BST. And that, of course, that would be 3:45 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow, May the 16th, Halloween 2018 watch party, Twitter watch party. Use the hashtag Halloween at home. Don't forget to use that. Okay, I said I was a couple more minutes. See what's come in here. James Sundberg says, don't know if I want to make a Twitter just for it. That's okay. You don't have to. You don't have to, right? It's for people who have it, right? If you don't have Twitter, that's okay. That's all right. That's all right. Danita Brown says, I plan on checking into the hashtag Halloween at home. Great to hear, Danita. Great to hear. Edwin A. Sordo says, good afternoon, Mr. Dave. Was there a movie you watched as a kid that gave you nightmares? No. The only thing that literally gave me nightmares, and I haven't had a nightmare about this guy or this character since I left the home I was living in 1988, so it's been 32 years, was the character, the mascot for the band Iron Maiden, Eddie, right? Eddie with the long white hair. Well, he's depicted in a couple of different ways, but the one that used to freak me out that I had a reoccurring dream about was Eddie, the mascot for Iron Maiden, with the long white hair and the blue pants, and he was like this kind of. I used to have nightmares about that guy. Funny, isn't it? What gets into your subconscious as a kid? But Freddy, never had a nightmare about Freddy. I've never had a nightmare about Jason or Michael Myers or any horror character. I've never had a nightmare about that. Watch, now that I've said that, I'll have one. I'll tell you though, the freakiest one would be Freddy, because he's like, oh, wait a minute. What? Am I having a Freddy dream? This is crazy. That would be crazy. That would be really crazy. All right, folks, that's going to do it for me on episode 56 of McRae Live. You guys are amazing. You know who you are. Thank you so much for all the questions. Thank you for the super chats as well. It keeps this channel going and keeps these shows going. I really do appreciate it. Thank you to my moderators, Frank Riker, Tabitha Short, Jason Nike, Darren Sands. You guys steer this ship, man. You steer it and you keep the chat room flowing. I love that we are building a community here and that everybody in the chat is, every now and then some dickwad will walk in and cause a ruckus, but 99% of the time, you guys are awesome, and I see you guys talking to each other and sharing ideas, and I love that stuff. I love it. It's just so awesome. It's awesome to see as we continue to build. So it's just really cool. Hey, again, tomorrow, Saturday, May 16th, 12:45 p.m. Pacific time, 8:45 p.m. BST, I think it is, 3:45 p.m. Eastern time, hashtag Halloween at home on Twitter for the watch party. I will try my best to seep in there at some point, but I can't guarantee it because it's a busy day for me tomorrow. Anyways, folks, you guys are amazing. I will be back, if I'm not back, with a standalone video uploaded to my channel, because you know how sometimes I do that. Tune in this Monday night, episode 70, I think it is, of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. Tony, Michael, and I are watching the remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003, the one with Jessica Biel. You've wanted it. We're doing it. This Monday night, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, episode 70 of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. Make sure you tune in to that. Alrighty, that's going to do it for me. In the meantime and in between time, I'm out of here. Cheers.